Liam opened his eyes slowly. His head hurt, and the world around him spun. Smoke filled the air. Fire crackled nearby. His spaceship, what was left of it, lay in pieces across the jungle floor. He tried to sit up, but pain shot through his body. His arm was bleeding. His leg was trapped under metal. Still, he pushed and pulled until he was free. Breathing hard, he looked around. There was no one else. No movement. Just silence. And the strange sounds of alien birds in the trees above. He was alone. Liam checked his communicator, broken. His emergency beacon, crushed. The jungle around him was thick, filled with vines, glowing plants, and giant trees he didn't recognize. He was not on Earth. He wasn't even close. Captain? Harris? He called out. No answer. Liam found a pack from the wreckage and limped into the jungle. He had to find shelter before nightfall. He didn't know what kind of creatures lived here, but he had a bad feeling. This place wasn't just wild, it was alive. Watching as the sun began to set, the jungle grew darker and louder. Strange cries echoed through the trees. Liam climbed onto a flat rock and tried to stay awake, holding a metal pipe as a weapon. His body ached. His eyes heavy. Suddenly snap. A branch broke. Liam jumped to his feet. He wasn't alone anymore. From the shadows, they came. Tall, silent figures. At first he thought they were human. But as they stepped into the moonlight, his eyes widened in shock. They were women, giant alien women, at least 8 feet tall. Muscular, powerful, dressed in silver armor and animal hides. Their eyes glowed slightly in the dark. They surrounded him without a sound. One of them raised a hand. Liam held up his pipe, shaking. "Stay back," he shouted. But they didn't attack. Instead, the tallest one stepped forward. Her hair was black and braided with gold rings. Her skin was dark blue, and her eyes sharp like a hawk's. She looked at him closely, examining his face, his chest. His hands. Then she pressed her palm against his chest. Her eyes widened. She turned to the others and spoke in a deep, strange language. "This one has the strongest genes," the others murmured in surprise. One of them looked confused. Another laughed. But no one argued. Liam didn't understand. "Wait, what do you mean? Who are you people? What genes?" They didn't answer. 2 of them grabbed his arms. He struggled, but they were too strong. "Let me go," he yelled. But they began to walk, dragging him through the jungle like he was nothing more than a bag of supplies. Hours passed. Liam was tired and confused. His mind raced. Why had they taken him? What did they mean by strong genes? He wasn't strong. He wasn't a soldier. He was an engineer. The weakest one on his team. And yet, they picked him? Finally, the group reached a strange mountain. Hidden behind thick vines was a gate made of stone. The alien women spoke a word, and the gate opened with a deep rumble. Inside was a glowing city built into the rock itself. Fires burned in tall bowls. Statues of alien women holding spears lined the walls. There were hundreds of them, more tall women walking around, training, fighting, building, all Amazons. Not a single man in sight. Liam was dragged into a large stone hall and thrown to the floor. He groaned, trying to stand. The tall leader stepped in front of him again. "You will be cleaned," she said, in rough English. "You will rest. Then you will begin the trials." "What trials?" Liam shouted. "What do you people want from me?" The leader stared at him and said in a calm, firm voice, "You are not a prisoner human. You are our only hope. You are the breeder." Liam's heart dropped. He had no idea what that meant, but it didn't sound good. Guards picked him up again and led him down a hallway. He passed giant rooms filled with strange equipment. Some women stared at him. Some whispered. One even licked her lips. Liam began to sweat. He had never felt so small or so afraid. He was taken to a room with hot steam and water pools. A silent servant handed him new clothes, simple cloth robes. He didn't resist. He was too tired. He changed, sat down, and held his head in his hands. What was going on? Why him? And what exactly were the trials they spoke of? Before he could rest, a voice spoke from the corner. "I saw what the High Matron saw in you," said a soft voice. Liam looked up. Another Amazon stood in the shadows, watching him. Her eyes glowed faintly. "I hope you survive," she said. "Because if you don't, I will have to carry your seed by force." Liam stared, frozen. And in that moment, he understood one thing. He wasn't here by accident. Liam didn't sleep that night. Even in the warm stone room, even after the steam bath, he couldn't relax. His mind was spinning with one word: breeder. What did they really mean? Why him? And why had that mysterious woman said she'd take his seed by force if needed? Morning came, and with it, silence. The stone door opened with a heavy rumble. 2 Amazon guards entered. They didn't speak. One of them threw him a leather belt with a simple silver symbol on it. Then they turned and walked out. Liam stood, slowly tying the belt around his robe. As he stepped outside, the brightness of the alien sun hit his face. What he saw next left him speechless. The temple city was alive. Hundreds of towering Amazon women marched, trained with giant weapons, carried blocks of stone, or meditated in circles. Some walked across ropes stretched high above the city. Others swam in steaming rivers. Everywhere Liam looked, only women. He followed the guards down a wide stone path. Strange birds with rainbow feathers flew overhead. Smoke drifted from cooking fires. Tall statues of warrior queens lined the way. Finally, they stopped in front of a tall stone building with a black curtain hanging at the entrance. One guard pulled the curtain aside. Inside stood the Amazon leader, the one who had first touched his chest. Her armor was more detailed than the others. Gold and bone pieces decorated her shoulders. Her eyes were calm, but full of power. "I am Matron Commander Soraka," she said. "You will speak, you will listen, and you will understand." Liam nodded. He didn't feel like arguing. "You are the first human male to ever step into our temple alive," she said. "Your ship falling from the sky was no accident. We called you. You what?" Liam asked. Soraka stepped closer. "Our race is dying," she said. "We are strong, we are proud, but we can no longer create life without help. We have tried. Many males from other species. None were compatible." She looked directly into his eyes. "Until you," Liam shook his head. "But I'm not strong. I'm not a warrior. I'm just," she raised a hand, "you survived the jungle. You lived through the crash. You are intelligent, fast, and you have something more rare than power. You have adaptability. That is the trait our people need." Liam still didn't know what to say. "Today," she continued, "you begin the rite of selection. If you pass, you may choose your mate from our highest bloodlines." He blinked. "Choose my mate? Yes, but you must earn the right. Not all Amazons want you here. Many believe you are weak." "A mistake." Just then, another voice cut in low. Sharp, cold. "Most of us believe it," said a tall Amazon woman, entering the room. Liam turned. This one had red war paint across her eyes and a heavy blade on her back. She stepped close to him and hissed, "When he fails the trials, I will feed his heart to the storm beasts." Soraka didn't flinch. "Enough, Varka," the warrior named. Varka stepped back, still staring at Liam with disgust. "She's the current champion," Soraka said. "You will face her if you reach the final test." Liam swallowed hard. His legs suddenly felt weak. Before he could respond, someone else entered. It was the same woman from the shadows last night. She had soft eyes, but carried herself like a hunter. She walked up to Liam and gave him a small nod. "I am Zura," she said. "You may not remember, but I was the one who pulled you from the wreck." Liam looked at her. "Why did you help me?" Zura looked to Soraka. The commander gave her a nod, then stepped out with Varka, leaving them alone. Zura spoke softly. Because I've seen something in you that no other male ever had. What's that? Zura leaned closer and said, kindness and fear. You feel fear. But you don't run. That's rare, even among us. She paused. I want you to survive the trials. If you do, I will offer myself to you. Liam's heart raced. But not as a prize, Zura said. As a partner. Before he could reply, the drums outside began to beat. Loud, rhythmic, powerful. Zura. Look toward the doorway. It has begun, she said. Your first trial awaits. Liam followed her out, stepping into the golden morning light, where hundreds of Amazon eyes turned to him. Some looked with interest, others with hatred. A few with desire. The path ahead was long. But for the first time, Liam felt something different, not just fear, purpose. Liam stood in front of a massive stone gate. Behind him were hundreds of Amazon women, their eyes locked on him. Some cheered. Some whispered. Others stared in silence, arms crossed, judging him, but in front of him. Only silence, and that gate. Zura stood at his side, holding a leather pouch. You must go alone from here, she said. Liam looked at her. What's behind that gate? She didn't answer right away. Then she whispered, the jungle doesn't. Test strength. It tests your will to live. She handed him the pouch. Inside are 3 tools. Use them wisely. No more, no less. Liam opened the pouch. A small knife, a coil of strong rope, and a glowing blue stone. What does the stone do? He asked. Zura smiled faintly. Nothing, it's for courage. Before he could ask more, a horn blew from the high walls. The gate opened with a slow, deep rumble. And the jungle beyond growled back. Thick trees, strange glowing vines, and mist rolled out like breath from a sleeping monster. Liam stepped forward. The gate closed behind him. He was alone again. But this time, they were watching. High above in hidden towers, Amazons watched through crystals and scrying pools. This was the first trial, the wild maze. No map, no path. Only 2 goals: survive and find the exit before nightfall. Liam moved carefully through the jungle. Every step felt heavy. Every leaf looked like it might bite. Every sound made his heart race. Suddenly, the ground beneath his feet snapped. He fell straight down into a hole lined with soft slime. His arms flailed as he landed on his back. Sticky webs clung to his face. Then he heard them, chittering, crawling. Fast, dozens of small, sharp-legged creatures with white eyes crawled out of the walls. They had no mouths, only long, sucking tubes. Liam screamed and rolled, slicing one with his knife. The rest swarmed toward him. He grabbed the glowing blue stone and threw it against the wall. The stone flared, lighting up the pit with blinding blue light. The creatures shrieked and ran. They hated the light. Liam used the moment to climb, tying the rope to a branch and pulling himself out. His hands bled. His shirt was ripped. But he made it. And above him, in a crystal viewer, Soraka leaned back in her seat and nodded. He didn't freeze, she said. He thinks like prey, but he moves like a survivor. Beside her, Varka snorted. Luck, but Zura, watching from her own post, smiled. He used all 3 tools in the first hour, she whispered. But he's still moving. Back in the jungle, Liam pressed forward. Strange birds flew over him. Red-eyed monkeys followed from above, throwing fruit and laughing. The sun moved quickly overhead, and shadows grew longer. He was running out of time. He had to think. He found a patch of moss-covered rocks and paused. His shirt was soaked in sweat. His legs were shaking. But something told him he was being watched again, not from above, from the jungle itself. He looked behind a thick tree and found a body. Another male. Old bones. Same human uniform. Rotting. A hole through the chest. Liam stared at the remains. So he wasn't the first human they brought here, just the first to survive. Suddenly, the bushes rustled. A massive shape stepped out. It was a beast with 4 legs, spiked fur, and glowing orange eyes. Twice Liam's size. Its teeth were black and dripping. The jungle had sent its final test. Liam had no tools left. No weapons, only his brain. The creature roared and charged. Liam ran, but not away. He ran toward the mossy rocks. The beast followed, slipping in the wet moss as Liam dodged behind a tree. At the last second, Liam jumped over the pit he fell into earlier. The beast didn't stop. It crashed into the hole, smashing into the web creatures below. Shrieking echoed as the 2 monsters fought. Liam dropped to his knees, panting. He had survived. The jungle was silent again. A beam of orange sunlight hit the jungle floor ahead. Through the trees, he saw something, a golden archway glowing with soft light. The exit. He limped toward it. As he stepped through, the jungle roared behind him one last time, angry it had failed. The Amazon stood waiting outside. Some clapped. Some bowed. Zura stepped forward and smiled. "You passed," she said. Liam looked at her, covered in cuts, dirt, and sweat. He managed to smile back. Barely. Varka stepped out from the crowd, glaring. "One weakling passed the jungle. Let's see how he handles the beast in the next trial." Soraka raised her hand. "Tomorrow, trial 2 begins. And this time, it won't be the jungle that hunts him." Liam's heart sank, but he stood tall. Because now, he knew something the others didn't. He didn't need to be the strongest. He only needed to stay alive. The night after the first trial, Liam was not allowed to rest. He was led into a grand hall where firelight danced across the stone walls. The Amazon sat in silence around him, watching, whispering, judging. They weren't cheering him. They were measuring him. The air was thick with tension and jealousy. At the far end of the hall, Varka stood tall, arms crossed, her heavy blade resting on her back. Her eyes never left Liam. Zura walked beside him, placing a gentle hand on his shoulder. "You survived the jungle," she whispered. "But now comes the real danger. The ones who hate that you did." Before Liam could answer, the Amazon Queen rose from her seat. She was older than the others, dressed in gold and bone. Her voice echoed through the hall. "This human has passed the first test," she said. "He may now join the trial of the hunt. At dawn, he will enter the sacred ground. His target, the Razorback." Gasps filled the room. Liam looked around, confused. "The Razorback?" He whispered. "Zur, a single quotes, S." Face grew serious. "A jungle beast with metal-like skin and bone knives for legs. Even our best warriors fear it." Liam's heart sank. "And he will go alone," the queen added. "But why?" Zura spoke up. "He is not a warrior. He's a builder." Varka stepped forward with a smirk. "Then let him build a way to survive." The Amazons laughed. That night, Liam sat outside near the fire pit, sharpening the same knife he used in Trial 1. His rope was gone. The blue stone had burned out. All he had now was this blade. And his thoughts. Zura sat beside him. She handed him dried fruit and water. "You embarrassed Varka today," she said softly. "That's why she made sure your next test is almost impossible." "Great," Liam muttered. "So I survived the jungle, just to be hunted by a tank with legs." Zura smiled faintly. "You have something even the strongest of us don't. You see things differently. Use that." Liam looked up at her. "Why are you helping me?" She didn't answer at first. Then she whispered, "Because if you die, they'll choose someone like Varka to carry your seed." Liam coughed on his water. "Wait, what?" Zura stood. "Get some sleep. You'll need every bit of strength." At dawn, Liam stood at the edge of the sacred hunting ground. No weapons, no traps, only a small satchel with meat to lure the beast. Razorback was already near. He could feel it, smell it. The ground shook with each step it took. Then, from behind the thick trees, it appeared. 10 feet tall. 6 sharp legs, a back covered in bone armor, and eyes that glowed red. It didn't roar. It didn't charge. It simply watched. Liam didn't run. Instead, he pulled the meat from the satchel and threw it to the side, then ran in the opposite direction, toward the river he spotted earlier. The razorback chased after him. Up above, Zura watched from a high tower, heart pounding. He's not fighting. Varka growled. He's fleeing. No, Zura said. He's thinking. Liam reached the river and climbed up a thick root, jumping onto a low-hanging tree branch. He took the meat pouch and smeared it all over the branch and the trunk. Then he climbed higher and waited. The razorback sniffed its way to the river and followed the scent. It stood under the branch, confused. That's when Liam dropped. Not on the beast, but onto the weakened branch just above it. Crack! The thick branch broke and came crashing down right onto the razorback's back. The beast stumbled. Its legs flailed. It slipped on the wet mud and rolled onto its side. Its armor protected its body, but not its eyes. Liam jumped down, ran to the side, and jabbed the knife into the beast's eye. The creature shrieked and thrashed, but Liam held on, driving the blade deeper. With a final scream, the beast stopped moving. Dead. The Amazon stared in shock. He didn't overpower the razorback. He outsmarted it. In the silence, the queen stood again. This human does not fight with strength, but with mind and fire. Even Varka was quiet. Zura smiled proudly. Her heart raced, not with fear now, but something else. Something warmer. That night, Liam returned to the hall exhausted, limping, blood on his face. But the way the Amazons looked at him had changed. Some bowed their heads. Others smiled. Even the warriors nodded in respect. Only Varka left early, her face tight with anger. As Liam sat beside the fire again, Zura brought him food. You surprised them, she said. Liam looked at her and asked, Did I surprise you too? She didn't answer. Instead, she leaned in and whispered, There's something I need to show you. Come to my chamber after the fire dies. And just like that, the real danger shifted. No longer monsters. No longer rivals. Now, it was desire. Blood still dried on his hands. Liam had barely slept. Not because of pain, though. His body ached, but because of Zura's words the night before. Come to my chamber after the fire dies. He went, but not for passion. Not for pleasure. He went because he needed answers. Zura's chamber wasn't like the others. It was smaller, simpler, just stone walls, a bed of soft moss, and a glowing crystal in the ceiling. She sat cross-legged on the floor, holding something in her hands, a small silver disc, old, cracked, and human-made. Liam's eyes widened. That's from Earth. Where did you get that? Zura looked up. It belonged to the last human who came here, decades ago. Liam stepped forward slowly. There was another one before me? Zura nodded. There have been a few. Some we captured, some we invited. All of them failed the trials. Or ran. She held out the disc. Liam took it, brushing off the dust. It was part of a recorder. He pressed the small button on the side. A voice crackled to life. To whoever finds this, don't trust them. They say it's about genes. But it's more than that. There's something they're not telling you. The message cut off. Liam's blood went cold. He looked at Zura. Is this why you helped me? Because you felt guilty? Zura didn't look away. No, I helped you because you're the first who never wanted to be here. That's why you're different. Liam sat down, heart racing. So what is the truth? He asked. Why me? Why this trial? What aren't they saying? Zura was quiet for a long moment. Then she finally said, Because if you win the final trial, you won't just choose a mate. She looked into his eyes. You will choose our future queen. At sunrise, the entire city gathered in the central Arena, a massive stone circle carved with ancient runes. Fires burned at each corner. Drums beat low and steady, like a heartbeat. Liam stood in the center. Across from him stood Varka, armored and furious. Her blade gleamed in the light. Saraka, the matron commander, stepped forward and raised her hand. "This is the final trial," she said. "If the human defeats our champion, he will take the right to breed and to choose." Whispers filled the air. Choose what? Who will rule? Zura? Varka? But no one said it aloud. Because everyone knew. This wasn't just about strength, that it was about power. Varka smiled darkly. "I won't kill you, human. But I will make you beg for death." Liam didn't speak. He just stared at her, then down at his hands. No weapons. Only his mind. He remembered the words of the old recording. Don't trust them. He wasn't here to win for them. He was here to win for himself. The gong rang. Varka, he charged. She moved. Like lightning, faster than any human. Even faster than most Amazons. She swung her blade. Liam ducked, rolled, and grabbed a fistful of sand, throwing it in her eyes. She roared and swung blindly. Liam backed away. He remembered what Zura had taught him. A real warrior never fights the enemy's way. He led Varka toward the center, toward the fire pits. Then he kicked one over. Flames burst across the arena floor. Varka charged through it, but her leg armor caught fire. She screamed and stumbled. Liam moved fast. He grabbed a broken spear from the side of the arena meant for show and jammed it into the ground, tripping her. Varka hit the ground hard. The crowd gasped. Liam stood over her, panting. He didn't strike her. He just dropped the spear and stepped back. "I'm not your enemy," he said. "I never was." Silence. Then the queen rose. "The trial is complete," she said. "The human has won." Varka sat on the ground, eyes burning not just from smoke, but from shame. Zura stepped into the arena and knelt beside Liam. "I hoped you would survive," she said softly. He looked at her, tired but calm. "I didn't win because I'm the strongest. I won because I didn't become like them." Then he turned to the queen. "I don't want to rule. I didn't come here to lead a kingdom. I want to know what this is really about." The queen's expression didn't change, but her voice grew low. "Very well, human. You deserve the truth." She raised a hand. From behind her throne, two robed figures stepped forward, carrying a child. Liam blinked. A small Amazon girl. Not strong, not fierce, just scared. "This is my granddaughter," the queen said. "She's the last of our royal bloodline. But she is ill, weak. Without strong genes, she will not survive." The queen's eyes met Liam's. "You were never meant to fight for glory. You were meant to save her life." Liam stared at the child, then at Zura, then at the crowd, and for the first time he finally understood. He wasn't just their test, he was their hope. The crowd was silent. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. Liam stood in the middle of the arena, his body bruised, his mind racing, his heart pounding. Not from fear, but from confusion. The queen's words still echoed inside him. "You were meant to save her life." He looked again at the child, the small Amazon girl with pale skin and tired eyes. She did not look like the others. She looked fragile, breakable. Liam had no words until now. Everything made sense through challenge, fight to survive, pass the trials, earn respect. But this was something different. They wanted a father, a protector, a healer. Zura stood beside him, her face serious. "She is the future," she whispered. "If she dies, the line ends. No more queens, no more Amazons, just scattered tribes." Liam stared. "And you think I'm the answer?" Zura nodded once. "It's not just your strength or your mind, it's your blood. You carry something ancient, something even we lost long ago. Before Liam could ask more, the queen raised her hand. The fires in the arena dimmed. And from the back of the hall, elders in silver robes stepped forward, 6 of them, their faces hidden behind bone masks. One held a scroll. Old. Cracked, she opened it with care. The voice that spoke was not loud, but it filled the space like thunder. When the stars fall and the jungle bleeds, a wanderer of earth shall come, not born of war, but of heart. He shall face death, not with rage, but with reason. And through his seed, the fire shall rise again. The crowd murmured. Liam whispered, "It's a prophecy." Zura nodded. "Passed down for generations. We thought it was myth." Liam looked at her. "And you believe I'm the one?" Zura smiled softly. "You passed every test. You tamed beasts. You showed mercy. You did not fight like us. And that's exactly why you were chosen." The queen stepped down from her throne, holding the small child. "She has no name." The queen said, "She is too young, too weak. If she grows strong, she will lead us into a new age. But if she fades..." She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't have to. Later that night, Liam sat alone near the outer walls of the temple. The stars above were brighter than anything on earth. He sat in silence, trying to understand what was happening. He was supposed to die in a crash. Instead, he had become the center of an ancient legend. "I didn't ask for this," he said quietly. "No," said a voice behind him. Zura stepped out of the shadows. "But sometimes fate doesn't care what we ask for. It just shows us where we're needed." Liam looked at her. "And if I walk away," Zura sat beside him, "they will survive. But not as a kingdom, not as a people. We will fade into the dust." A soft wind passed between them. Zura took his hand. "I don't want you because of prophecy," she whispered. "I want you because I believe in who you are." Liam looked into her eyes. They weren't the eyes of a warrior now. They were the eyes of someone who had carried hope. In silence, for too long, he touched her hand gently. "I'm not a hero," he said. Zura smiled. "That's exactly why you are." The next morning, the temple drums called everyone to the sacred garden. There, under the rising sun, Liam stood before the elders, the queen, and the tribe. His voice was calm but firm. "I will help raise the child. I will protect her. Not because of blood, but because it's the right thing to do." Gasps filled the air. Zura stepped beside him, standing tall and proud. "And I choose him," she said, "not as a breeder, but as my mate." The queen closed her eyes, as if releasing a weight carried for generations. "It is done," she said. "Let the fires burn. Let the future rise." Far above, in the tallest tower, an old Amazon scribe looked out at the stars. She smiled. "The prophecy has awakened." But deep in the shadows, hidden from the ceremony, Varka stood alone watching. Her fists clenched. Her eyes burned, and without a word, she walked away into the jungle, because in her heart, the story was not over. Not yet. Smoke rose from the sacred fires, but the scent in the air wasn't of celebration. It was of war. The ground trembled beneath Liam's feet as distant horns blew from the jungle. Zura stood beside him on the high walls of the temple, eyes narrowed. Her armor was on, her blade sharpened. "They're coming," she said. Liam clenched his fists. "Who?" Zura looked toward the trees. "The exiled ones. Warriors who refuse to accept you as part of us. Varka leads them." Liam's heart dropped. Varka. She had disappeared days ago, silent, angry, broken. Now she had returned. Not alone. With an army. In the jungle, Varka rode a beast of war, black-skinned and horned, its footsteps cracking roots and rocks. Behind her, dozens of rogue Amazons marched, faces painted in red, spears in hand. "They chose the human," she growled. "They forgot who we are." One warrior beside her asked, "What if the prophecy is real?" Varka's eyes flared. "Then I'll destroy it myself." Back at the temple, Liam stood before the queen one last time. "I came here by accident," he said, "but I won't leave as one." The queen looked at him. "Then what are you now?" Liam looked at the child he had agreed to raise. She held his finger in her small hand. "I'm her protector," he said. "And her future." Zura stepped forward. "And mine." As the enemy approached, Liam helped prepare defenses. He didn't lead with fear. He shared ideas, built traps, helped organize fighters. He didn't order. He worked beside them. Many Amazons who once doubted him now followed his word, because he had earned it. The battle began just before sunset. Arrows flew through the sky. Spears clashed with stone walls. Varka herself leaped onto the battlements and faced Liam, her blade glowing with heat. "You still think you belong here?" she hissed. Liam stood firm. "I don't belong anywhere. That's why I can protect everyone." They fought steel against speed, fury against cleverness. Varka was stronger, but Liam was smarter. He dodged her final blow, kicked her leg, and flipped her onto her back. His knife pressed to her throat. He didn't strike. He looked into her eyes and whispered, "It's not me you're fighting. It's the future." For the first time, Varka's eyes softened. She dropped her blade. The battle ended. The rogue Amazons, seeing their leader defeated and spared, lowered their weapons. There were no cheers, only silence and respect. That night, under the stars, the tribe gathered once more. The queen stood, holding the child in her arms. "This child will live," she said, "because of the choice one human made." She looked at Liam. "You changed more than fate. You changed us." Liam stepped forward. "I didn't do it alone," he said. He turned to Zura. "I choose her. Not as a warrior, not as a reward, but as the one who stood with me when I was no one." Zura stepped beside him, taking his hand. "I choose him," she said, "because he reminded us what strength really means." The tribe roared, not with weapons this time, but with joy. And so the temple changed. The jungle grew quieter. The fires burned brighter. The child, now named Hope, grew stronger each day. And the human who was once taken as a joke became a legend. Not for the battles he fought, not for the blood he spilled, but for the life he gave to a dying people. Far beyond the stars, on Earth, no one knew what had become of Liam. They thought he was dead, lost in a crash. But in the jungle, temples of the Amazons, he was alive. He was loved. He was the chosen.